Welcome to Paranormal Yacker. You are invited to join me, your host, Stan Mallow, each week when I interview a different guest of note in their respective field. The unexplained, the mysterious, the macabre, UFOs, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomena. We explore them all on Paranormal Yacker. Hi, everyone. This is Stan Mallow, the Paranormal Yacker. Today's show is part 2 of my interview with Vincent Genna, author of The Secret That's Holding You Back. How does one go about developing the consciousness and practices to elevate their ability to live an authentically expressed life?
They do the work that I wrote in my book. You go in and you take the steps. I have all different exercises in there to be able to do that. But the primary goal is to work on changing those beliefs that are influencing what you're creating. So the more you work on opening and getting rid of all that negative stuff that you've accumulated throughout your life from those negative messages from the environment, whether your boss did not give you a raise because you didn't get a great evaluation this year, to when you were a little kid and mom and dad said, oh, you got a C on your report card, you could do better than that. I want to see an A instead of a C, or an A instead of a B. All of those messages, you weren't very polite, you weren't very nice to me. Anything, any of the negative stuff that we've received, that is all accumulated in the mind that we need to get out of the way, because it's blocking who we really are, our potential, and our connection to a higher force, that God force, that power of who we are. It's like Star Wars. George Lucas was very metaphysical, Stan, and I got to find that that was absolutely true. And that entire movie and saga was a story about our relationship with that force, the God force, and what our job is in order to learn how to use it, become Jedi Knights. And the way we do that is, what did Yoda always say, is you've got to work through your fears. You've got to rid yourselves of the fears of not being good enough, not being deserving, all those I'm nots I said. And as you're doing that, you're developing your use of the power and you're getting to know who you are. Every time we accomplish something that's positive and good and that we want, we're supposed to stop and recognize what we did right to do that, to give ourselves even the praise and the appreciation for taking those steps and doing that, so that way we can repeat that again and again. But we've gone too long taking ourselves for advantage. We just don't take it ourselves for granted, is what I really wanted to say. We just think that anything that we accomplish now, well, yeah, that's because we're humans, and yeah, that's the human spirit. Yeah, we're always going to do that. No, it's more than that. It's much more than that. It's that we're beings of light, and that we're beings of power, and that we're beings of love. And every time we take a step in that direction of acceptance, of love, all of that, then we're also taking a step and recognizing and acknowledging that we're divine and magnificent. Everything comes together in our growth and in favor of our growth. Right now, it's been really difficult to do that, because here we are, I'm telling everybody to take those growth steps and feel how wonderful you are. But meanwhile, all around us, all this negative stuff is going on. Right now, we're dealing with all these horrible fires in Canada, right, that are coming down. You look in Manhattan, it's pure dark brown. The color of my book and stuff, that's the color of the air in Manhattan and around Canada right now. And so when you're looking at that, it's really hard to say, oh, I'm divine and magnificent and I can help heal this. No, you feel even more doubtful. You feel less hope, and you go, oh my gosh, this world is coming to an end. Matter of fact, I can't tell you how many Christians think that we're going through the book of Revelation and Armageddon right now. It's the apocalypse. We're all going to hell in a handbasket. Like, no, yes. Can there be that? Absolutely. We have the capacity to create that as well. But this is to wake us up. Let's use it to wake ourselves up. Let's do, it's like Sodom and Gomorrah. Wonderful. All of those stories in the Old Testament are metaphysical messages to teach us who we really are. And so Sodom and Gomorrah was doing a whole bunch of bad, negative stuff. They were killing each other, having sex with everybody. Basically what's going on today in the world, shooting each other or whatever with arrows and spears back then, whatever was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. And of course, the angel comes down and says, God's going to destroy. But in actuality, the message was, you're destroying yourselves. They pick out Lot because he happened to be the spiritual one. And they said, hey, Lot, listen, if you wake up 11 people in your town and they wake up to their spiritual understanding of who they are, you'll actually save Sodom and Gomorrah. This story was a story of what critical mass is. You don't need everybody to get perfect, Stan. We don't need everybody to be holy rollers and now they're all awakened and enlightened and they're living in their higher consciousness. Not everybody has to do that, but enough has to do that, because that power of the positive will overtake the power of the negative. And that's what he told Lot. Of course, Lot, we know the story, couldn't find 11. And so the angel said, well, you know what? If you find 9, you might get some rocking and rolling from earthquakes and stuff like that, but at least you won't fully destroy yourselves. Go find 9, it'll be okay. Well, they couldn't find 9. And the angel says, well, get out of there now, because Sodom and Gomorrah is going to hell in a handbasket, and don't turn around and look back. Otherwise, that energy is going to follow you. Now, we know the rest of the story. The idea now is if we can awaken, if we can get some people out there, that's why I'm motivated. When I hear these stories, I don't get pulled down. I get pushed forward. I want to do this more. And a person like you comes along out of the clear blue, finds me and says, okay, will you do my podcast? That is a guidance system going on to get this information out there that people can change and grow and evolve and heal what's going on right now. We still have a chance. We're here, we're breathing. That means there's always hope for changing and transforming everything. And there's a lot of information on how to do that now in the world. So all we have to do is encourage and empower people enough to do it. And that's why I wrote this book. And that's the work that I do, Stan. And I know it's the work you do.
What steps, Vincent, do you suggest people take in order to manifest what they desire?
The first thing they need to do is learn that they can manifest. So learn about the law of attraction, pick up a book, take a lecture, go online. There is so much information about the law of attraction and what it does. Just do me a favor. At the time that they first started teaching the law of attraction, they made it really easy. So they told you, you have to think the right way. Yes, you do, because thinking actually influences your belief systems. But I want you to always remember when they say think, that they really mean believe the right way. Learn about the law of attraction and learn that it works from your unconscious core beliefs. That's step 1. Really put that together. Step 2 is believe you're more than just this physical being. We are more than flesh and blood. What really keeps us going? We know what keeps the Energizer Bunny going. It's a battery strapped to his butt. We don't have that battery strapped to us, like I said earlier. What keeps life going here? It's got to be something greater than us. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. What does that mean? We are energies having a physical experience. And as we learned as energies, our energy manipulates every other thing that's physical and made of matter, and that's including your body. So you have to believe you're more than. Then as long as you believe you're more than, step 3 is believe you're equal to everybody else and a child of a higher power and source. So that means you're deserving. You're deserving because of your innate history, innate ancestry, where you come from. You come from that power and source. Obviously, you have to believe in a power and source. Besides the law of attraction, you have to believe in this power and source, but they go hand in hand. Once you start understanding that and you start giving that some attention, then take the steps that I said earlier. Recognize that you have some kind of blockage or defense mechanism that's keeping you from seeing what you really believe. And then dive in there, being willing and doing the exercises that I have. It's a simple process, but it's a difficult practice because you got to do it all the time. Then you have to do these 3 things. After I do these steps, after the steps I just said, you have to do this to follow up with it so that you make sure you do those steps consistently and all the time. Walk in your life with integrity, congruence, and commitment. Integrity, then begin to walk your talk. If you understand that we're supposed to be loving, caring, compassionate, care about yourself, treat yourself well, and love yourself, treat others well too, be positive, enjoy life, be kind to each other. You know all of those things, walk your talk. That's what integrity is. 2, congruence. Walk it all the time. Don't just do it on Sundays. Don't just do it one day a week or maybe 5 minutes a day. Do it all day long. You're capable of it, even in the middle of work, even in the middle of the most stressful event. You can still walk your talk and deal with the stress on an integral level. I can do this and do it all the time. And 3, then commit to yourself. Commit to yourself to do this because you are worth it. I have a mantra that I wrote in my book that I want to share here with everybody. And always remember this. You want to say to yourself every single day, and say it out loud, not even to yourself, I love myself so much. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to experience my greatest existence here because I deserve it. I love myself so much. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to experience my greatest existence here because I deserve it. With a mantra and a life journey like that, you will be motivated to do this work, take those steps, and not stop until you become who you want to become, because then you're guaranteed to create a life of your dreams, which is what I've been doing. And yes, I had to work on it. I'm 68 years old and I'm still doing work. So is my wife. We've done the work together. It does work. And that's why it works for everybody who puts this work in, because we are capable of manifesting a life of our dreams, Stan. And I want to make sure everybody has a chance to be able to do that. That's why I do what I do, and I wrote what I wrote.
Thank you. Your mantra should really be on a poster. If you haven't done it, I suggest you do it. It should be on everybody's wall. I love it. There's so much wisdom in that. Your psychic readings, Vincent, have helped countless others release their passion and purpose. Is it possible for you to share one or two of them?
When you come to me for a reading, it's going to be really deep, also considered the big leap psychic. So I made an arrangement with the universe to only guide to me those souls that are ready for big transformations. So however you come to find me, that means your soul is ready. If you're not ready, you won't find me. You won't be interested in having a reading with me. But when you do find me and you're on the phone with me, expect it to be intense, expect it to be completely transformative. These are the advanced classes. I do that, and I get all types of clients calling me that are in all different conditions, even successful people. I've got CEOs of Fortune 500 companies that call me because one aspect of their life is completely successful, like work, but the rest of their lives are not successful. And most people have issues of either career, vocation, finances that tend to go along with that, absolutely relationships, and then health. Those are the four major areas of people's lives that everybody has some kind of issue with. So I go in there, and I've seen, and some of the stories, I just shared one recently, which was really interesting. And it's in my book, actually. I've shared a couple in my book. It's one gentleman. It started off with a gentleman. He had a girlfriend. He called me up. He was an engineer, and he was successful as an engineer, but he was completely unhappy. I said, well, you have a girlfriend there, but you're not making a commitment. How long have the two of you been together? Well, we've been together for 7 years. And you're not married? Well, it's because of all the issues I saw in his past and past relationships that didn't work for the both of them. And that's what they were fearful of. She was on phone too at the exact same time. And so I'm seeing the little kid inside of him. I'm seeing how hurt he was. I'm seeing what his father used to say to him and how it was so important for his parents that he achieved. Well, that's a natural thing that parents want for their children to start with, but they don't understand necessarily the message that the child is picking up when they're trying to instill, yo, you better do better than that. You got to do good in school. Otherwise, you're not going to get in college. And if you don't get in college, you're not going to get a good job and you're not going to make money. Oh my God. All of those negative messages about what you're not going to do. And they're expecting this kid to understand that doesn't have a developed mind. So this guy came out of that world feeling completely unhappy with his job. Well, okay, he's a successful engineer, but so what? He was completely unfulfilled in all aspects of his life, including love. Meanwhile, like I said, he had a girlfriend. I said, but you're not experiencing the depth of that relationship because you're afraid of commitment. And so you're not sharing with each other, but she's the same way. I said, this is what you have to do. Remember that guitar that you wanted to play and you used to play as a little kid? And he goes, oh my gosh, yeah, when I was a teenager, I played a guitar. I said, yeah, you're absolutely right. I know that. I saw that. I said, you put that down. It's hidden away somewhere, packed away. It's in the dark somewhere. He said, yeah, I've got it in the closet up in the attic. I said, I need you to get that guitar out and start playing it again. You need to start telling that little kid inside of you that he is worth his dreams, that he is worth all the things he wanted to do. That wasn't just a fluke or a fantasy that you had. You wanted to play with a big band and stuff like that. There was nothing wrong with that, but you got the message that there was something wrong with that. So I want you to get that guitar and I want you to start playing it again. And then I told his wife, which was really interesting. I said, and you were involved in music too, but not an instrument. What did you do? You sang. Okay, you sang. You used your voice. She said, yeah, I used to sing in chorus. I said, yeah, and you stopped. Why did you stop? Well, because of life and things, and you got to have a future, and you can't always make money for that. And I got involved in other things. I said, well, you were wrong. Get back to singing. So I went on with that reading, but what's really interesting, I didn't hear from them. And then not too long ago, actually last year, which was 5 years after their reading, they made an appointment together with me. And I don't remember any any of my readings, but as soon as they started to let me know who they were and what I had said before, I went, oh my gosh, yes, I know. I said, holy cow, there are a whole bunch of changes that took place. And so what had happened is he picked up the guitar, he started playing it. Well, he started to really love playing the guitar. And she started singing again, and she loved singing, but singing with him while he was playing the guitar. That allowed them to step into their right brains. They did the work in my book. They started working on themselves, realized how much they were really in love with each other, got married, loved the music so much, and now they're a couple, moved to Nashville, Tennessee. They're in Nashville, Tennessee, and now going around from club to club doing little nightclub acts. They got married and had 2 children and are living happily ever after. And all because I told them, you have to play the guitar again and honor your little boy, and you have to start singing again and honor your little girl and do this work, and you will see your life completely transform. And I get stories like that over and over and over again. I had one woman, Stan, write me shortly after reading my book. She said, I didn't even get a chance to close the book before I get a message from an old place that I applied for, the dream job of my life, that they said, no, sorry, we changed our mind. We have, no position here, blah, 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 whatever excuse they gave her. All of a sudden, she's sitting there doing the work in the book saying, I deserve the job of my dreams. I truly do that with an increase from the money that I'm making now so that I feel completely fulfilled. She gets this email, and after responding to them, they offered her dream job, increased to salary that she was making currently by $10,000. She said that happened the day after I finished reading your book, because I said to myself, I am going to believe, and I told the little girl inside of me, you deserve the job of your dreams. And she said, and I manifested it instantaneously. So that's the kind of story that I've been hearing, because that's what can happen. But those are the things that I see in life. I care because of the torment, Stan, that I went through, and I wrote a little about it in my book, is I was abused until I was 17 years old by the kids in school. They used to chase me home from school almost every day. If they caught me, they'd beat me up. In school, they would, of course, shove me in lockers, flush my head in toilets, throw me in the dumpsters behind the schools, strip me and throw me into assemblies to embarrass me, peed on me, spit on me, all throughout the class day. And that was in school. But when I got home, Mom had her own mental pathologies because she had been sexually molested until she was 13 years old. And so she had borderline personality disorder, major depressive disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, panic disorder, anxiety. And she took that all out on my brother and me. So it was very unsafe at home as well. And on top of that, I was sexually molested by my babysitter until I was 13 years old, and the parish priest who was coming over and taking care of Mom. I had gone through a lot, and my self-belief was completely torn away from me. I realize I've done a lot of work on that till today, and still little Vinny wants to pop his head out and say, well, you're not good enough, but I'm on top of him, and I'm able to hear him right away and let him know, yes, you are deserving. My life has been going in a fabulous direction, but I had to deal with all of that, and I did, which is why I wrote this book. All that information is in this book on how you can do that, because I know you can change your life around. And now I am manifesting on a drop of a hat. Just anything that I want, it just is coming along so wonderfully. But of course, it comes along as long as it's in my best and highest interest, because that's what I ask for, what's in my best and highest interest. Or I'm part of those stories. My whole story is part of that, in knowing how your belief can be taken away. So my work today is to make sure that people believe in themselves and believe that they deserve the life of their dreams, Stan. That's all I care about in working with my brothers and sisters out there.
You, Vincent, do soul-to-soul psychic mediumship readings as well as spiritual counseling. How do they differ, and what is the goal, the purpose of each one?
That's like what I was just saying, and there isn't a difference in there except for any of the tools that I wind up using. I want people to understand that I'm connecting with your soul. I'm hearing what your soul wants you to know. It may not be what you want to know, but I absolutely only hear what you need to know. And I shared that. The mediumship part in me, which has been, that was another thing that developed, which is so great, is that deceased loved ones will come along. A lot of times it's the perpetrators, it's the people who caused you pain or caused you dysfunction, and they're wanting to apologize and they're wanting to help. So they help with the messages, they help you with the healing process, which has been wonderful. And so I use that as well. All tools to help the person unblock, release their passions and purpose, discover their passions and purpose, and then give them the empowerment and the motivation to go after their dreams. That's the important part. You want to get them going. So it's like I am the kindling, I am the pilot light to the fire, but you are responsible for putting the logs on to get that fire really going. And I'll do whatever I can to help you believe in yourself. And Stan, because it even happened to me, the reason why I am with my wife for over 50 years now is because she saw in me what I couldn't see in myself. It takes one person to believe in you, and I believe in everyone. I let people see themselves through my eyes for a change, because I see their godness, I see their talents, I see everything that is good about them, while they're only looking at everything that's bad about them. And for the moment that they see themselves through my eyes, they want to see the same person. That motivates them to do the work. That's how I do my readings.
If I had the opportunity to give out karma points, you'd get a multitude of them.
Oh, listen to you. Thank you.
You definitely deserve
well,
it.
I got to tell you something. I got to admit this to you, Stan. When this first happened to me, when my spiritual awakening occurred, and I asked the universe and I asked God, why me? Why is this all happening to me? And that I'm supposed to be the spiritual teacher. And my guide turned around and said to me, because you were a terrible student in a past life. So the best way to be a better student is to teach it. He said, listen to everything you have to say, because that's what you need to learn. And I'm like, okay, I get it now. So thank you. I'm glad I'm doing the right thing. At least I'm learning what I was supposed to learn and making up for what I did in a past life. And so I will take all those karma points then, Stan.
I'm sure many of my viewers would love to go to your website. You spoke about it. Could you please share it?
Oh, yes. It's vincentgenna.com with a Genna. Yeah, there I go, forgetting even to share my own website. But thank you, Stan, for reminding me. That's vincentgenna.com, Genna, and you can link with me anywhere you want. And I also respond back, just so that you know. I have a group page on Facebook, The Secret That's Holding You Back. So when you read the book, you can even join and share your experiences with others there. And I will respond back to you if you're reaching any detours or blocks or anything. I will help you with it. But especially when you have the successes, I love when you share that as well. So I can communicate and will communicate with you if you need that.
Vincent Genna, I thank you for being my guest on Paranormal Yakker. It's been an absolute pleasure yakking with you.
Oh my gosh, absolutely, Stan. And let me tell you something, how perfect this is. If you are going to ever find a yakker in this world, it is me, my friend. That's all I've done all my life. As a kid, I got in trouble for it. And as an adult, I'm doing great things with it. So thank you for having me on your show. We were a perfect fit.
Beautiful. Thank you. Hi, everyone. This is Stan Mallow, the Paranormal Yakker. I hope you enjoyed the interview you just watched. To be sure you're amongst the first to receive new interviews when they're released and to have access to previous ones, subscribe to my free YouTube channel. To do that, all you have to do is press the subscribe button on your screen.